Before I get into this video, I just want to say these opinions are coming from someone who's hit GM on all roles this season, and here's the proof right here if you don't believe me. So yeah, my experience and opinions might be different than yours. This video is not meant to be critique, but simply a response from someone who's been one-tricking for quite a while. I've been watching a few of this guy's videos, and I actually do like what he has to say a lot. But this video in particular kind of stood out to me because he said some things that I want to talk about because I feel like I could defend some points. I feel like I'm not going to show the full video, just parts of it that I want to respond to, but you guys should check it out on your own time, or at least one of his other videos, because this one had some pretty funny parts in it. But yeah, let's get into the video.
According to Albert Einstein, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That makes me think the Overwatch players that are most likely to be school threats, top 500 players, and one tricks.
Yeah, I mean, I would add Moira players to that because I don't think I've ever met a friendly Moira main.
Now this is going to be probably my most controversial rant because it's a really controversial topic. You have a lot of people saying you should let people play what they want, and you have another group of people who say it's incredibly toxic to only play one hero in a game where you have to counterpick and constantly swap to give your team the advantage.
I mean, yeah, if you want to play perfectly, then you could keep counter swapping, but that would require you to be somewhat decent at like every single hero, and you're never going to catch me playing Orisa or a Hog. Like, I can't. I mean, even on DPS, I almost never find myself having to swap. I play mainly Genji and Tracer. Genji, Tracer, McCree. And even when they have Mei, Sim, Zarya to try and counter my Genji, I can still contribute to my team, even if I have to play like completely. I do have to play like a lot safer though, and it does change how I have to play, but I can still contribute to the team. And I'm pretty sure he's mainly talking about swapping on tank, which, yeah, I will say it's more impactful to swap on tank than any other role. But I've had so many games where the enemy tank has tried to counter swap me just to not know how to play that character. Like, I'll be playing Zarya and they'll try to go Winston, but they just won't know how to play Winston and they'll end up losing anyways. And like, I know some people will make it their job to counter swap you the whole match without fail. And to be honest, being forced to swap, regardless of if it's the best play or not, it's just, I don't find that fun. I'd rather keep improving on the same hero that I'm playing, but I'll get more into that later.
Now earlier I mentioned the definition of insanity, and although one tricks don't really expect a different result, they do in fact do the same thing over and over and over, day in and day out, every time they play this game.
I actually disagree. As a one trick, you end up having to learn the matchups against every single character you go against and how to deal with them, such as playing around character cooldowns and capitalizing on mistakes that they make. And it can feel so rewarding to outplay someone. And I'm not sure if this can be said for every character, but for example, the Genji, you have to play differently depending on who you're up against. Like no two characters have the same counterplay. And honestly, that's one of the most fun parts about learning a character, and simply swapping the moment you're getting countered kind of stagnates your progress on that hero, in my opinion. Like, I've been playing a lot of Doom recently, and I'm still learning how to play him against different types of comps and characters and what to do. And honestly, it is an engaging learning process, even if it can get kind of frustrating. And beating the characters that counter you feels so much better than just swapping and then winning that way.
So, I think it's fair to label them as fucking insane, because you have to be insane to find this game fun playing like that.
This kind of is a fair point, because once you go on like a long enough losing streak, you do go insane playing this game. I can't even lie.
Now, it goes without saying, I'm talking about competitive. I'm not talking about, you know, one-tricking and QP. Although, me personally, I'm a very competitive person, and I rage in quick play. Yes, I am one of those fucking tryhards who gets upset by losing in quick play.
Don't even worry, I'm also a quick play warrior. I play quick play with my buddies, and if my team is getting rolled, or if I get teabagged by, like, a Sombra, I will switch to my main and make it everybody's problem, because if I'm not getting any competitive points or anything, I want to at least win the game so I feel something, because losing on quick play just does not feel good, especially when you know the other team is so much worse than you. Then like I can't.
But no, I'm not talking about you QP1 tricks. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say y'all should be banned or anything. You know, you have the right to play whatever you want in QP. However, competitive, that is a game where if you queue up, you should be trying your best to win the game. And you are not trying your best to win the game if you are not playing around your team, playing around the enemy team, and swapping to give your team the better advantage.
How I view this is that if you want to improve at a character, quick play is not the place, because quick play and comp play very differently. Like if you think you're good with the character in quick play, try playing them in comp and you will get humbled. But I mean, it's also necessary to better learn how to play that character against people that are actually trying. Like you need some comp experience if you want to like actually like improve at a character. At least in my opinion, from my experience. Also, I don't really agree with the idea of having a swap to give your team the better advantage. Like, I believe if your team really is better and knows how to play their heroes, then it really doesn't matter who you're playing. I mean, at least I want to believe that. Like, yeah, swapping when you're getting countered can make it easier for you, but I don't think there's really any like complete counters anymore. Like the first one I'm thinking of is maybe Zarya and Orisa, but even then I've had some trouble against Orisas as Zarya. Like sometimes I'll have it like it'll be a close match. So that's why I don't really believe in you have to counter swap to be the most optimal. But I don't know, that's just me.
Now let's talk about the biggest excuse one tricks have, and that's that they have fun. They play the game to have fun. They don't play the game to win. Every single one of you guys, I bet on my soul, have blamed your teammates at one point or got upset at a loss, which in turn does make you hypocrites. I hope you do realize that, right?
Yeah, this point is easy to debunk because I don't have fun in this game anyways, and I don't know anyone who does, to be honest.
So I'm sick of one tricks using that excuse that I'm just playing to have fun. Like, who cares if we win? Because most of you at some point got toxic, blamed your team because nobody likes losing. And one tricking in a counter pick heavy game will more often than not be a fucking detriment to your team.
When he talks about one tricking, I'm assuming he's just referring to the act of not swapping in your match and not the career one trick veterans who like their whole account is just like Torb or like one single character. Like to me, I just think that's actually impressive that you can only play one character. Like I'm like a 3 or 4 trick. I'm not a one trick. Like I just like my certain heroes. But and I can't completely understand the frustration that comes with having like a tank player that won't swap and they're doing bad, because I've had tank players on my team who they'll go negative. They'll go like 5 and 9 and they won't swap. They'll be playing like ball. It's usually ball. But at the same time, people can just suck regardless. Like, people can just suck, and it's not because of who they're playing. Like, they just suck. And plus, they're probably learning that character. So I like to think about it from my perspective. Like, if I was that person, I'd just be learning. So I don't think about it too much. Like, I don't get too upset as long as they're literally not throwing. But like, also, this is his rant. Like, this is his opinion. I have no reason to try and change his opinion. I think it's a very valid opinion. But I'm trying to give it a different perspective.
And let's say you still want to use that excuse that you play the game for fun. That means you're okay with the enemy team thinking they're better than you. And I can't wrap my head around that. Let's say you're playing Doom or Ball, right? And the enemy swaps to 4 counters to shut you down and you still don't swap. I really want to know the psychological thought process you have to let players who play like that have a free win.
So I actually would like to share my psychological process here. For me, it's kind of the opposite. Like, if I have the whole enemy team swapping to counter me and I can still perform well, I don't really feel bad if I lose, because like having 3 people counter swap just tells me that I'm doing my job right and that their team thinks I'm that much of a problem. Now, if it's a landslide loss, I still don't feel too bad, because most of the time, like, no tank swap could have saved the game, to be honest. And some people just need to realize that, like, if the whole team is just doing bad, then what do you want me to do? And if their whole team has to counter swap me, it kind of just tells me that they suck ass and they have to swap to cheesy characters just to try and beat me. That sounds like it's a cope, but like you'd be surprised, like the amount of cheese radiating from these characters. It's so bad. And if you do win while getting full countered, it feels that much better because you won without needing to swap or anything, and it shows that you are improving at your character, and that does feel rewarding.
You're content with them getting a free win and thinking they're better than you because they picked all your counters to shut you down? You're really gonna let players who play like that go to sleep thinking they're better than you?
I mean, they can think what they want, but I just hit 20 subscribers, so who's really winning?
Now let's talk about my least favorite one tricks, and these are my least favorite to have on my team, not to play against, because not gonna lie, I'm gonna have an orgasm rubbing my fucking titties if I were to go against these one tricks because they're so easy to shut down. So let's start off with Doomfist. Because not only does he have a high skill floor and takes a lot of skill and a lot of time and hours to even become somewhat decent at him, but you also got to take into account that it's so easy to counter him and shut him down.
Yeah, he is pretty hard, and sometimes you can feel like you're not getting any value from him, so I do agree with this.
I would also like to add that I hate this fucking myth that just because you put all this time into a hero that people just assume you're going to be good at it. You do realize how insanely false that is. That's like saying everyone who puts a lot of time into Overwatch will be a GM player. Obviously that's not true, seeing as you had players in Overwatch 1 who had diamond borders in silver or bronze. The amount of time you put into a character does not correlate to their skill, so I'm sick of people using that excuse.
I do like that example, and that's very true, but for characters like Doom and Ball, usually a lot of time is required just to get their movement and fundamentals down, and even longer to be able to carry games. So you might be seeing these players in their learning phases when they're doing bad, if that makes sense. And with one-tricking, there's a kind of drive to want to improve and keep playing the same character, even if you're losing over and over again, because eventually you will get better and you'll start winning again. And I think that's why you see mainly Doom and Ball players that don't swap more than any other tank. And also what I've noticed is that the higher I climb, the more reliable and consistent my teammates tend to be, and I can focus mainly on my gameplay more. And I know there is going to be like those one games where you're going to have like, it's just going to feel unwinnable with your tank going like 5-13, but I mean, maybe I'm just not finding these players as much anymore because I'm on a really good win streak right now. I don't know, but I mean, who knows? Maybe all one tricks really are delusional and coping and all that, but I like to think it's a learning process, and eventually your teammates will get better the higher you climb.
Well, I'd rather them be on a hero they're good at than a hero they don't play, because being on the right pick can drastically change the game even if you're a fucking novice at it, because that's how fucking watered down this game is.
I mean, yeah, I know a lot of matches I could have swapped and had a much easier game, but I know me and a lot of other people would like to believe that the game really is winnable without swapping, and the game ends up more challenging that way. And if you're thinking, oh, why would you want to make it harder on yourself and your team? Well, I mean, it's a game, and sometimes games are more fun and rewarding when they're challenging, and I'm a firm believer in that. And that might be the reason why you end up seeing people just not swapping.
And oh my god, bro, let's talk about the one tricks who tell others to swap. Oh my god, isn't that just the most fucking ironic thing ever? The player that isn't gonna swap to help the team when the enemy is running full counters is micromanaging their team and telling them what to do and how to play.
I mean, I've rarely done this myself, but I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of funny seeing a one trick telling other people to swap. If I had said this to one of my teammates, it's probably because I was genuinely trying to be helpful, but I know a lot of tank players that will just blame anyone but themselves.
My final suggestion is to make one tricking a bannable offense.
That's what would happen to my account, so let's not ban me, please.
But yeah, that has been my rant about one tricks. I know a lot of people are gonna disagree and cry, but I don't really care. You guys are fucking annoying. If you're gonna one trick, it's okay to one trick. Obviously, it's not a bannable offense, but you better fucking get ready to get flamed and be constantly reminded how much of a detriment you are to this game. You can't go around fire expecting not to sweat.
Oh, don't worry. I'm constantly reminded by my teammates, and it's not fun, but I forgive them, even if they're mean. And before you guys say something like, who asked for my opinion, he literally asked for feedback, so you can't even call this video pointless or yab sesh or whatever.
If you disagree, let me know what you disagree with.
All in all, one tricks are just misunderstood and innocent and need to be left alone because they're doing their best, and any criticism is unneeded. Y'all let me know if these are valid opinions, and I would like to hear what you guys think. And also, don't worry, the Overwatch videos are still coming out. I've got the 10 subscriber special planned, but then we got 20 subscribers randomly. So I guess the 20 subscriber special now. Anyways, be waiting for that, and hopefully it won't take that much longer, but that's about it, and thank y'all for watching.